Let your hands rest on your legs. Make sure your hips are feeling good. Make sure the back is feeling straight enough. If not, stick some more pillows, some more blankets under your hips. Your legs could be out wide. They could be crossed. You can keep changing them at any time you want, as long as you're comfortable. So letting the hands rest on your legs. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let it out with a big sigh. Keeping your eyes closed, start to move yourself around in great big circles. Change the direction of the circles whenever it feels comfortable to you. Don't force it. Just let it be natural. Check in with how your hips are feeling. How's your lower back feeling? Check in with those shoulders and the neck. Please keep in mind, for the duration of the class, there's no forcing, no judgments, only observations of your own breath and body. So just a few more times around. Try to breathe through your nose if you can. And then let's transition into the rhythm of the elephant. Lean yourself slightly in front of the hips and sway from one side to the other side in the rhythm of the elephant. See if you can breathe deeply to one side. Exhale out to the other side. Back and forth. Let your lower back soften. And allow each breath to be full and deep. Maybe pausing at the very top of the breath. Maybe pausing at the bottom of the breath. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the right or the left side. Just put your hands on each side of one of your legs. Take a deep breath, and on your own exhale, bow to where it feels safe. As you press that opposite hip down to the floor, let your head hang. Allow the shoulders to relax. Staying right here, take a deep breath in, let it out with a great big sigh. Shake your head a little yes, a little no. With an inhale, rise back up. Put your hands on both of your legs. Exhale here. Take a deep cleansing breath in, and again, let it out with a great big sigh. When you're ready, turn to the other side, breathe in, and gently bow just to where it feels comfortable. As you press that opposite hip down to the floor, let both of your shoulders relax. Let your head hang down so the neck can be soft. Let the neck release. Take another deep breath in, and again, let it out with a great big sigh. Little yes, a little no with the head. With an inhale, rise back up. Place your hands on both of the legs. Exhale here. Now take a deep breath in and draw both shoulders up to your ears. And on your exhale, take the shoulders back and down. Let's try it again. Inhale, take the shoulders up. Exhale, take them back and down. Place the hands on the floor in front of you. And when you bow, stretch out to where it's safe and comfortable. Some of you melt down to the floor. Others are setting up high. Somewhere in between is just fine too. Let your head hang down. Let the shoulders relax. Let the neck be soft. Let it release. Please take this moment. Balance your breath. Balance the mind with the body. With a deep breath in, let's rise back up. Place the backs of your hands together. Lift them to the heart. Take a deep, expansive breath. Open the arms out wide. Exhale, the hands meet right over your head. Inhale, reach your fingertips up tall. And when you exhale, please take the hands comfortably down to the heart. Namaste. Release your hands. Roll your shoulders. Now relax your shoulders down. You're going to turn your head to the right side. Open your mouth real wide. Stick your tongue out long. Let's do lion's roar. Close the mouth. Gently shake your head. Yes to the right. And then with an inhale, bring your nose to center. And exhale, turn your head to the left. Open your mouth wide. Stick your tongue out and go. Close the mouth. Shake your head gently, yes, to the left. Bring your nose back to center. One more time. Open your mouth wide. Stick your tongue out. Use your eyes to look upward and go. Close the mouth. Tuck the chin into the chest. Little no movements with your chin. Then we bring both shoulders to the ears. Lift your head up. Relax your shoulders back and down. So I like to do a breath work in our yin class to start out with. If you cannot sit on your knees in hero's pose, please sit on a chair, on a couch, someplace where it's comfortable. Sitting down on your bottom makes it a little more difficult to practice the breath. We're practicing bellows breath. So you want to make sure your knees are comfortable. So maybe you stick a blanket or big pillows. Maybe you got those big pillows off the couch, stack them, kneel on them, make yourself comfortable. So what we're doing is applying the bandhas, the locks of the body, just through the center of the torso. So we're not using our hands and our feet in this. It's pulling the pelvic floor up, that's Mula Bandha, belly button in and up, that's Uddiyana Bandha, and then your Jalandhara Bandha locks your chin. So just try pulling the pelvic floor up like you're stopping a stream of urine flow. Pull the pelvic floor up, pull your belly button in and up. Notice how your back rounds. Now tuck your chin into the chest and you can round. Put your hands on your knees and then you're gonna lift the shoulders up, lift your head up and roll the shoulders back and down. We're gonna apply those locks with the breath. So we're gonna take a deep breath. Exhale, pull the pelvic floor up, let some of the breath out. Pull the belly in and up, let more of the breath out. Tuck the chin into the chest. All the breath is out. Squeeze the breath out, pulling all those locks up and in place. And then bring the shoulders up, lift your head up, and roll the shoulders back and down with a nice big breath in. So we're going to add bellows breath to that. So bellows breath is a practice on exhalation. We don't truly inhale, we exhale. And if you don't exhale completely out, there's no way the atmosphere can force oxygen into your lungs. So we practice exhalation. So put your hands on your belly. And all you're going to do is just take a deep breath and out through your nose if you can. Try it again. And again. Now let's try to do it consecutively. It starts slow, but you can continue faster. Now, exhale out. Fill and retain. Now the bandhas. Exhale, pelvic floor up, belly in and up. Tuck the chin in the chest. All the breath is out. Pull all the locks in and up. Inhale deeply, bringing shoulders up, back and down, looking forward, relaxing your shoulders out of your ears. Breathe normally for just a moment. Let's try the second round of it. You can either rest your hands on your knees or put your hands on your tummy, which is easier for you. Start slow and then build. It's just the core, no shoulders. Exhale out. Fill and retain. Exhale, pelvic floor up. Exhale, belly in and up. All the breath is out. Chin is tucked in. You're rounded into it. Hold the breath out. Inhale deeply, lifting shoulders up, back and down, looking forward. Keep your eyes closed for a moment and observe your body. This stimulates your whole body, the nervous system, your breathing. Let's try one last round of it. Hands on the knees or your tummy. Start bellows breath. If you sputter, that's normal. Keep the shoulders out of it. Exhale out. Fill and retain. Exhale, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Hold the locks in place. Hold the breath out. Inhale deeply, bringing shoulders up, back and down. Keep your eyes closed and breathe normally. Let's continue working the spine. When you're ready, please come onto your hands and knees, padded or not. We're going to spread the fingers wide apart. Elbows are straight. We're always going to start with the cat pose, and then we move it into cow pose. Please go back and forth from your cat pose and move it into cow. Gently, slowly, and breathing full and deep. Just a few times. Let's soften the spine up. Now the next time you have cat rounding, hold the cat, shake your head, pull your tummy in, and then relax your back. Now make sure you have enough room behind you to take your leg out long. Roll your toes under, please, Take your right leg out behind you. Roll your toes under and place them on the floor. Press strongly through the heel of your foot, pressing through the calf muscles, your hamstrings. Now we're going to lift the leg up, take it to the left side. Right toes down onto the floor. Press strongly through the heel of your foot and look over the top of your left shoulder as long as it feels comfortable, and breathe there. Now we're going to bring the leg back behind you, wiggle your ankle, and bring your knee down to the floor. Move your hips around in circles. Go one way around, go the other way around. Keep the arms straight, spread your fingers, toes are rolled under. Left leg goes out, roll your toes under and press strongly through the heel of your left foot. Breathe deep into the calf muscle, your hamstrings. They feel very different, don't they? Now we're going to take that leg up and take it all the way over to the opposite side, to the right side. Put your toes on the floor. Look over the top of your right shoulder at your left heel and breathe there. And then take the leg back behind you, wiggle your ankle up high, and then bring your knee down to the floor. Move your hips around in great big circles. Go one way, go the other way. Now, we're going to start with dragon's pose. So we're going to take our right leg up. I want you to get all your pillows, everything close to you in case you have to get a quick hand on them, okay? This pose is not a 5-minute pose. It is a 3-minute pose. So let me get your clock set. What you're going to do is make sure you have all the toys close to you because you're going to need them. So dragon pose, we're going to take our elbows onto the knee. Well, let's get warmed up first. Let's put our hands on each side of the right leg. Keeping that right knee bent, we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to straighten the right leg out and bow over it and breathe there. We're going to stretch into the leg a little more. And then we're going to inhale, come forward. If your left knee hurts, please put some kind of padding underneath of it. On your exhale, pull the leg straight and bow over your head. Let's do this 3 more times. Inhale, bend your knee, come forward, press forward with that left hip, and exhale, straighten it out. Inhale, bring it forward. You may not go very far, maybe it's a little bit. Exhale, press it back. And one last time, bring it forward. And then exhale, press it back. Take 2 breaths there, stretch through your leg. Now we're going to come back forward. Now you can either have your elbows on your knee. You could either just stay right here. Some of you actually want to use pillows underneath your right leg and start eking your right leg out. This is a way we start to practice a split. Some of you are going to be here holding on to your blocks. Some of you are going to have high pillows underneath you so you come nowhere close. Other people are right here. Now, if you're going for the split, don't just go for it, folks. We're here for 3 full minutes. You can be starting to work your way into it now. Do not force any of this. So maybe you're here, maybe you're here, maybe you're just playing and stretching that leg and going, I may be able to hold this for another minute more and then come out of it and maybe come back into it. But I've got some friends here who have been doing this for years and they've already eked their leg out. They've already let their groin melt as low as they can, but you're not going to force it, and you will always, always use props if you need them. You're well on your way of finishing your pose. Remember, everybody's pose looks different. Breathe into it. Just a couple more breaths, letting those hips relax, settle into it. Even though it seems like a long time, please remember it's not forever. The beauty of this pose, it should be easy to come out of it. If you're working on the split, I do like the blanket, and I forgot to mention it, sliding it underneath your heel. Sometimes that makes it easier to maneuver your heel back and forth. It's easier to slide it. But some people, again, are never going to play with this. Please listen to your body. Breathe into it. You're almost complete with the pose. Settle into it. It's not forever. It's just a little while. Remember, you can stay in the pose or come out of it. We're on our last few breaths, folks. Really let go, relax into it. We're on our end here. And now you're going to gently, if you have your heel out, you're going to slide it back. We're all going to press back into the left hip, and we're going to bring our right knee back to meet our left knee. We're going to move your hips around. Go one way, go the other way. Now press it back to a child's pose. Let the toes touch. Let your head rest on your arms or on the floor. Take a couple of breaths. That's very intense in your groin. There's not one of the yin poses that isn't intense. Just 2 more deep breaths in your lower back, letting your shoulders relax, no matter where your arms are. It could be anywhere. Let's play with dragon pose again to the left side. Get all your toys ready. So remember, blanket, if you're going for the split, helps you slide the leg out, the foot out. Keep that close by. Maybe you want that blanket underneath your right knee. You want to have that right leg back. Your left foot is forward. Your knee is right over the ankle. You're going to place both hands on each side of the left leg. We're going to warm that up. We're going to take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, straighten that left leg out as much as it's safe for you. Breathe into that leg. Now we're going to come forward. Take a nice breath there. Press your right hip forward to the front of your mat. On your next exhale, straighten that left leg out and bow. Inhale, bend your knee, lift forward. Exhale, straighten the leg and bow. Again, inhale, bring it forward, press that right hip forward, and exhale, press it back and bow. Inhale, bring it forward, and last time, press it back and hold it and breathe. See if it's just a little looser than it was a moment ago. And then inhale, lift all the way back up. Now it's time to come into your dragon. Maybe the elbows are on your knee. Maybe you're just kind of playing with it and pressing into it. Maybe you're going for it. Maybe you're putting the pillows underneath your thighs, high or low. Maybe you get those blocks to help you maneuver that left foot out in front of you. And you play with the split. So get your toys, get them well underneath you. So maybe you stay up high for a while and then slide it out. Maybe you stay with that leg out, but up high until another minute goes by, and then you may want to go lower. I like the soft pillows because you can actually sink down into them over time. Do not force the pose. None of your yin poses should you ever force. You want to let your muscles go. You want to relax into it. But you should not go past your point of where it's too much. Something where you can tolerate and relax into it. You do not want to find pain. You want to relax into it and let go. At any time you can come out of it. Even if your leg is out long, you can always slide that foot back, play with stretching it back and coming back into it. Maybe you never even make it to having your leg out. Maybe you just have the pillow underneath you and nice cushion under your right knee. That's fine. It may take even a year or 2 years before you even want to extend your leg out in front of you. Yin is something that you do over a course of a lifetime. The longer you do it, the slower you do it. The more intense the poses become, the deeper they come, and the longer your connective tissues will open, they stay open longer. You never have to warm them up once you've really stretched those areas. It takes a tremendous amount of time for the tendons to tighten back up, possibly years. So allow yourself to melt, allow yourself to deepen it, find that flexibility, but never overstretch. You're on your last few moments of the pose. Stay with it if you can. Come out of it if you need. That's the beauty of yin. Just a few more seconds, kids. And then we're going to, your leg is out, you're going to slide that leg back. And once you do, have the foot underneath your knee and your ankle underneath the knee, and we're going to just stretch it back. Take a breath or two there. Then we're going to bend the knee, get rid of your toys, and you're going to bring that left knee back to meet your right knee. Now, come into child's pose. We're going to take a moment. You can have your knees apart or together. You can lay on your back and hug knees to chest. That's good too. But if you need to, on your knees, little space for your belly if you have one, knees together if you need, arms out or under your head. What does it feel? What feels good to you? If child's pose is not comfortable for you, get pillows. Stick them underneath you. Try to find a place where just stretching back feels better. Maybe even pillows under the knees. Please take 3 more deep breaths. As you're in this child's pose, allow the back to stretch. Allow the shoulders to release. Let them go. Take another really deep breath, even if you've done 3. And then simply lift yourself back up. It is time to lay down onto your tummies. So we're going to play with Sphinx pose. This is a back bend. You're going to stack your hands, one on top of the other. You let your forehead rest on your hands. I'm going to start your clock while you're here. You're going to let your hips relax out. Heels flop out. So even if you have to take the legs apart a little bit and wiggle them, go ahead. Now, if you're feeling well enough to come up onto your elbows, go right ahead. Let the heels flop out. Relax through your shoulders. If this is too high for you, but you don't want to be flat on the floor, you can roll your blanket up, stick it underneath your arms, and kind of come up a little bit higher. This gives you a little more of a back bend without coming up so high. Please make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're not gripping your butt muscles. No tight asses. Very rarely, I don't think I've ever said in any classes to grip your butt muscles. Relax your butt muscles. Let the heels flop out. If your lower back is hurting, you can stack those hands and let your forehead rest on your hands. This is enough of a back bend for you. But like I said, if Sphinx pose is where you're at, this is good too. Please make sure your neck is comfortable. So maybe you want to put a yoga block or a pillow underneath your forehead, low or high. This is my big caution in yin, is neck and shoulders. It is not a neck and shoulders class, and you can kind of tense those areas up because you're feeling such intensity in the hips. So it's very, very important that you keep your neck and your shoulders relaxed and comfortable. You can always tell a well-seasoned yin yogi practitioner because they have every toy available to them. Because even if they've, quote unquote, mastered the pose, they know that every day is different, and you do not want to crunch your lower back. Make sure this is healthy and it feels good. This gives your kidneys a little squeeze and stimulation. This is great for the kidneys. It's great for your bladder. So if there's one or two people here today who go, oh, I like this, but I want something deeper. Not everybody should do this, so please don't attempt it if you know that your lower back can't handle it. You put your hands out a little wider than your shoulders. They're a little more forward to the front of your mat than the shoulders. The thumbs are pointing straight ahead and your fingers are dialed out. Now you don't want to be like this with your shoulders in your ears. You want your shoulders out of your ears, no elbows out. You want the soft spot rotated towards the ceiling. This sends your back in a different type of back bend. This sends a little more intensity to your kidneys. Now, did you grip your butt muscles? If you've gripped your butt muscles and you cannot relax them, you must come to your elbows. But if you can handle this and relax your butt muscles at the same time, you're in seals pose. Relax your belly, breathe. Remember, you could be flat on the floor with your head on your hands. That's fine too. No matter what the pose is, and you could be up high and decide, I don't want to be here anymore. Relax into it. Kidneys, lower back area, let everything relax. Belly, especially the heels of your feet, let them rest out. Again, some of you want to be down on the elbows. Some of you want to be flat on the floor with your forehead on your hands. Honor it. If you're in seals pose, please come back to your elbow. If you're on your hands with your head, you're going to turn your cheek. Your nose is pointing to the center, and on your next exhale, gently turn your head over the left shoulder and hold it and breathe. Then inhale, bring your nose back to center. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Hold it and breathe. Inhale, bring your nose to center. Let your head drop, little nose, little yeses. And then we're all going to lower ourselves down so our arms are by our side. Palms of your hands are turned upward. Relax through your shoulders. Let the hips go. Please take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. Please bend your knees and crisscross your ankles back and forth a few times. Now you're going to keep your feet up. Turn your head to the opposite cheek and drop your feet from one side to the other side in windshield wipers. Feel that in your lower back. And then drop your feet to the floor before you go anywhere. Take another deep breath and let it out with a sigh. Again, let your hips relax. Child's pose. Hands under your shoulders. Bring your hips to your heels. If your knees don't like it, lay on your back. Hug knees to chest. Toes together, knees apart, or together, whichever feels best. Head goes to the floor or on your arms, wherever it feels good for you. Please play with child's pose. Allow the hips to relax. You've just compressed your lower back. We want to decompress it. If you are on your back, you're hugging knees to chest, hug behind your knees, and at least 3 deep breaths. Bring your nose between your bent knees at least 2 times. You're stretching your back that way. If your neck hurts, you certainly don't have to lift your head up. You can lay on your back and just hug knees to chest. Let's take just a couple more breaths in our child's pose, whether it be reclined or on our knees. And then we're going to all meet each other on our bottoms. So we're going to use the pillows if we need it. We're going to stack some logs, guys. So sit up high on your pillow if you need to. So even 2 of them. So make sure if you've got tight hips, you need to sit up high. Don't be low. You're not going to be successful in it or be able to hold it. This is another 3-minute pose, not a 5-minute pose, so don't get scared. So if you want to, maybe you're sitting flat on the floor. So whether you're sitting on the pillows or the floor, we're going to take our left foot and bring it inward. We're not bringing the foot close to our body. We're taking the leg out in front of us so that the right ankle can go on top of your left thigh. Now, not everybody can get this ankle on the thigh. Some of you have to get that blanket between the knee and your ankle because it really hurts. So go right ahead and adjust yourself. I'm going to clear your clock and make it 3 minutes, folks. So we're going to sit up tall, look and make sure you can look down and see your ankle and knee in alignment. Ankle, knee in alignment. This is why they call it square pose or stacking logs. Stay here. I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like on the big pillows doing the same pose. This pose is not easy. This has been a hard pose for me my entire life. So it would look like this if you're on your pillow. You're up high, your feet are off the pillow, okay? Just your hips, maybe just, in between, to the middle of your thigh, and then you're able to stack. You can always take other pillows, stick them underneath there. Now we're not trying to, list out to one side or the other. We're trying to square our hips. We're not pushing on that knee. We're letting gravity pull it down. So maybe not on the knee, maybe on behind the knee on the thigh, you put a little bit of pressure with your elbows and just let gravity do it. Don't push. You're not pushing. You're just kind of letting it rest. You should feel a little more intensity in it. Breathe into it. This is not an easy pose at all. If this is impossible for you, you can always stack your knees and play with shoelace. These poses are very similar, but you would have your feet out wide enough that you could just drop your hands down and there your feet would be. But if you're in stacking logs, you're coming down further, whether you're pressing down. It takes a long time to work this pose. This took me a very, very long time for it. Not everybody's built for each pose to be easy. We're almost complete with this pose. Stay with your breath. Allow gravity to pull that side, your right leg, down towards your left foot just a bit more. Just a few more breaths. I know I have some friends that have their hands way out, and they're breathing, trying to press both hip bones down, trying not to let the hips roll up. Everybody's going to look different. Please be very slow and mindful about lifting up. You're going to pick your foot up, your right foot up in your left hand. You're going to straighten your left leg out. Wiggle your left ankle around. And now we're going to put your right foot in your left hand or elbow. Rock that baby. Rock it, rock it, rock it. And then you're going to send that leg out. Work your ankles around. Go one way, then the other way. Flex and point your feet a few times. Thank goodness we only have 2 legs. Let's get the other side. So you're either up on stacked pillows, okay, or one of them. Make sure it's comfortable and safe. Each side is different. Left leg goes on top now. Right leg bends. Your shin is out in front of you. Get that left leg on top. Now you may have to put the blanket between your ankle and your leg. You want to look at your knee and make sure the ankle and knee are in alignment. Ankle and knee are in alignment. It feels different on this side, huh, folks? Set up tall. Press your hip bones down. Even if you're sitting on the pillow, set up tall and then lean yourself slightly forward. Maybe you just rest both arms, not on the knee, on the thigh. Don't push. Let gravity do it. Let the muscles relax. This is another one that's super hard to let go of the muscles surrounding the knee, in your thigh. Try to relax into it. Now, stretching that around the knee is good. Stretching in the knee structure itself where you're having pain, not good. Listen to your knee. If you're experiencing horrible pain, you just can't make better by sitting up on your pillows, maybe adjusting your legs. Maybe you need to try shoelace. Maybe just sliding the knee over and stacking your knees and putting your hands, just dropping those hands on the feet. Maybe this is the pose for you. So either one, stacking logs, shoelace, whichever feels best to you. Allowing that area to stretch, that hip. You may feel it in the groin as well too. Everybody feels these poses in little subtle different ways. Breathe into it, let it soften and release. You're halfway done with the pose. These 3-minute poses for some reason seem like longer than the 5 minutes. Let those hips soften. See if there's something else you can let go. Try not to be afraid of letting go. Let go of any tension and tightness that you're holding on into your neck. Like what I'm saying, you're not pushing, you're not using muscle energy. If you are leaning over to add a little pressure, not into the knee, behind the knee on the thigh, you're allowing gravity to pull you downward. You're not pushing, you're relaxing. You're breathing and trying to be soft in the pose. Just a few more breaths. We're almost complete with it. We're going to start to work our way back up. So gently, slowly lift up. You're going to feel a change as you do. Pick your left foot up in your right hand. Send your right leg out. Rock it. Maybe hug it. Rock it. And then send your leg out. Oh, work your ankles. Go one way. Go the other way. Flex and point your feet a little bit. And now all you're going to do is lean back. Put your hands behind you. If you can make this rotation, turn your fingers towards you, heels of the hands away from you. Draw the shoulder blades together and bend your knees. So once you have that, take the feet out nice and wide apart. We're going to drop both knees down to one side, pick them back up, go to the other side, pick them back up. Both knees drop down as low as they can go. Pick them back up, and one more time to the second side. Bring both knees up, one knee press it inward, bring it up, go to the other side. Just 2 times to each side. And then once we've done that, walk your feet towards each other. Fingertips point towards each other. Heels of the hands away. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. This may be as far as you go. Part of yin is one arm strengthener. This is it. Upward facing table. So if you want, keep your feet on the floor, pull the belly in and up. You may stay here if you choose. If you want, lift your hips up, looking either at your knees to protect the neck or let your head drop back. Take a breath. If you have a neck problem, please have your hips on the floor. And then gently lower the hips down. We're going to grab our knees in front of us and drop your chin. Take a moment. Now we're going to meet each other coming into swan pose. Everybody's going to want to come into it differently. So we're going to come up onto the hands and knees. Even if you don't come into swan or pigeon pose from down dog, please come onto your hands and knees and have your toes rolled under. Press your hips low to the heels. Elbows are off the floor. This soft spot is rotated inward or upward. Spread your fingers, look at your arms. Now, once you look at your arms and see that your hands are spread and there's no weight on those wrists, you're going to tuck your chin. Only if it feels good, you're going to stay here and take 2 deep breaths. If you do not do down dog, you'll stay here and then come into leg extensions, what we did earlier where we were in table pose and took one leg out at a time. If you want to come into down dog, you keep your tummy and thighs together. You lift your knees off the floor. The back does not change, and you come into down dog. Walk your puppy a little bit if you're in down dog. If you are on your knees, you're doing leg extensions. To roll one, take one leg out, roll the toes under, and press through the leg. We're all stretching through our calf muscles and our hamstrings just a little bit. My friends who know how to fly into swan or pigeon pose, you know who you are and you do know the technique. For my new friends who do not know how to come into it, please bring your right knee up between your hands. You're going to drop down onto your right hip and you're going to push that right knee all the way out to the side of your mat. Now, I can't tell you how high or low to have your foot. That depends on your own knee. You're going to straighten your left leg out behind you. Even if you come into it from down dog, start like this, please. Have your left toes rolled under, left knee off the floor. You're going to push back with the right hip and then relax your left leg down. If your right hip does not go to the floor, you get a blanket, a big cushy pillow, and stick it underneath your right hip. We're sleeping swans today. Last week we did waking swans to sleeping swan, but today we're going to be sleeping swans. So you can stack your hands and go to sleep, say a prayer, or shed a few tears. If you are going, I don't feel anything, the first thing you need to look at is your knee out far enough? It needs to be out wider than your hip, out to the right side. If this is hurting, maybe your foot needs to come up higher. Your foot needs to come down lower. If you want it more intense, maybe it needs to come up higher. Remember, you can always come out of the pose. I'm going to show the modification for this pose. If you are needing to lay down onto your back and put your right ankle on your left thigh, you're going to take the pillow and stick it underneath your left thigh and drop the knees down to the left side, pointing the right knee away. Now, say you're not feeling enough this way, but it's too much on your tummy, you would simply pull your foot into your hip crease, take the left foot out a bit, and then drop it down, pointing the right knee up to the ceiling or away from your body, not towards you. You're not going to get the same pose. So everybody's going to allow that right hip to melt. Everyone's going to allow that right hip to soften. So as you're into the pose, if you're on your belly, maybe you want to walk your elbows to the left side just a bit to experience a little deeper sensation in that right hip. Now, once you've established the pose, stay in the pose. You can always come out of it any time, but allow yourself to melt and breathe. Where do you want to breathe? You want to breathe out the back body, not your tummy. Breathe out your back rib cage, your side rib cage. Think about breathing deep into the right hip itself. On the exhalation, allow the tension of the right side to melt and slip away. Allow the patience for yourself. Allow space for yourself. Don't force anything. Allow the time to settle into the pose, whether you're laying on your back or your belly. Breathe. The big caution for this pose, neck and shoulders. Don't hold your neck and shoulders tight. Let your neck relax. Let your shoulders relax. Breathe deep. This pose changes year after year after year. This pose does not get easier. It gets deeper, as do all of your yin poses. You can stretch your muscles from here to tomorrow. When you wake up, they'll still be kind of stiff and tight once you stop and cool down. But when you stretch connective tissue slowly, without tearing it, without forcing it, it stays open for a long period of time. Meaning, if you go to sleep or not do any yoga for a week or so, you come back and wow, you're still maintaining the flexibility. The tendons are so much different than working in the muscles. We're allowing our bodies to relax and soften just a bit more. Yin gives us time to think and feel. You're almost complete with the breath. If you've moved yourself to one side or the other, come back to the center for your final breaths. You can always reach the arms out long if it felt good. Maybe you got your arms under you and pillows are stuffed under you and you're crying and going, my God, when is 5 minutes over? They're almost over. Relax a bit more in your right hip. It's common for your foot to kind of go to sleep. We're going to gently start to work ourselves out of it. You're going to lift yourself back up. You're going to take any props out from underneath your right hip. You're going to roll back onto it. You're going to pull that right foot inward. Usually this is where all of you start crying and cursing. So lift the hips up. So if you notice a few tears or you're saying some bad words under your breath, that's okay. You're one of many right now. Move your hips around in great big circles. My friends who are on your back and you brought your knees back up, please take both feet off the floor and take knees around in circles too. Go one way, go the other way. Now, just because you did that pose either on your belly or your back does not mean you're doing it the same way this time. Before we come into it, please take a few deep breaths, maybe 5-6 breaths in child's pose. So if you're on your back, knees to chest, at least 3 deep breaths. If you're on your knees, just come into child's pose. Relax your arms wherever they're supposed to be and let your lower back release. Let your hips balance. Talk your left hip, tell it it's not so bad. Your right hip did it good. Your left hip's gonna be fine. Let's come all the way back up, kids. Let's try the other side. Remember, if you did leg extensions last time, do leg extensions. If you would like, we're all meeting with our hips back, our toes rolled under. Spread your fingers wide, elbows are off the floor, your arms are straight. We're all going to start here, tucking the chin into the chest. Even if you're going to do leg extensions, still get that nice stretch from fingertips to your hips, tuck the chin. If you are coming into down dog, lift your knees up off the floor, take your puppy out for a walk. If you are not doing down dog, you're on the hands and knees now and taking each leg out, pressing through the heel, breathing through it, stretching the hip and the leg. For my friends who are in down dog and want to fly into your pigeon, go right ahead. For my friends on the floor, bring your left knee up, drop your hips down onto the floor. You're going to pull your foot out. You don't know how high because each knee is different. Remember, every day can be different. We're all going to have our right toes rolled under and we're going to lift the knee off the floor. We're going to push back with that left hip and then relax our right foot. Now, if pushing back with that left hip did not achieve our hip down to the floor, stick a blanket, a pillow, whatever needs to be underneath the hip. We're trying to settle this part outside of your hip to a prop, a blanket, a pillow, or the floor. Your right hip towards the left heel, and you're on your elbows. Some of you are up high with pillows underneath them. Others of you are down here crying and saying a prayer. Remember, if you're going, I'm just not feeling anything, the knee needs to probably be out further to the left. Probably the foot needs to come up higher. If you're going, oh my God, it's too much, pull the foot down. This is your lever for pain. A lot of pain up high, less pain low. Do not have your leg out past that where it's out up higher than your knee. You do not want ankle higher than the knee, either in alignment to the knee or down towards the groin. Now, if you are on your backs, remember, it's the left ankle on your right thigh. You take it down, either a prop underneath your right thigh, the left knee points to the ceiling, or away. It does not lean inward. That's a whole nother twist. You want to press it away and get into your hip flexors, your piriformis. And we're going to breathe into it. Let it open. Let it soften. Let it go. Allow everything to release. Now it's said, the yogics, ancient yogis said that your left side is your moon side. Your right side's the sun side. Because it will always be day and night different. Allow it to always be day and night different. It's just how it's going to be. You may have different thoughts and emotions. that come up, but we're going to handle them in the same way by allowing our bodies to melt and relax and make sure the knee is safe. Allow the body to release the muscles, the stress, the tension from your neck and shoulders, and let yourself melt into the pose. This is truly not an easy pose. When I practice this on my own in my practice, I have to set the clock. I hold this one for 10 minutes and I always think, oh, it's done. No, it's only been 2 minutes. Oh, I've got to be close to done. Not even halfway. You only get deeper in these poses. You still feel them intensely. There's very few poses you won't feel intensely. And I've got some friends that wanted to walk their elbows to the right to deepen it, pressing the left hip down. I have some advanced yin yogis who like to go both ways and they know who they are, so they're going to adjust themselves in any way. I also have a couple of new friends to yin here, so I always like to say, welcome to the dark side of yoga, because we're stretching on the deepest parts of your body, the bone to tissue. So it's even said that you can actually affect your bones through this practice. You can actually strengthen them. They can actually change in a lot of subtle ways to amazing drastic changes. So you really are in one of the darkest spots in your body. Hard, no movement is your bones, but yet there is movement. Breathe. Breathe deep. You're on your last moments of the pose. Let it go. Let it soften. Let it release. If you've gone to one side or the other, please come to the center and allow your hips to evenly melt. You can even stretch long across the floor. Let those hips melt. Let them go. Take a breath. You're safe on the floor. Let it all just release and go. It's very common to feel tingling from the nervous system in your feet or your legs. You may think it's unpleasant when you first start it. Sometimes that's a feeling you're looking for after you've practiced for a while. Believe it or not, that 5 minutes went by pretty fast, didn't it? You're going to take any pillows or props out from under your hips. You're going to gently lift up. You're going to roll back onto that left hip. Pull the foot inward. Remember, this is usually when the crying and the moaning and groaning starts, so come up and move your hips around. Go one way. Go the other way. Get that nice deep movement there. Now we're all going to come into the leg extensions. Arms are straight, toes are rolled under, and you can walk your dog if you wanted to, but take the right leg out if you're on your knees and stretch it. We're going to pick that leg up like we did at the beginning. Take it to the left top side. Toes are rolled under. Look over your left shoulder. Stretch it there. Down dog ekapada if that's what you're doing. Let's get the left leg out. Roll the toes under. Stretch through that heel. Then take that leg over to the right side. Roll the toes under and look over your right shoulder. Get that stretch in your hip there. Then we're going to take our leg back and the knee home. Move your hips around. Go one way, go the other way. Now, we're going to come down onto our bottoms. We're going to get those hamstrings, folks. We're going to get them though. We're going to do hurdler's pose. So some of you are going to need some extra cushion. So you're going to either set up on something, you know who you are because your tailbone's rolled under. So we're going to take our left foot, we're going to bring it to the inside. There are 2 ways to do this pose. This is the easiest. This is modified hurdlers. And at that point, if it hurt you, you would get a pillow under the knee. If your hamstrings are super tight, get your blanket and you're going to take it and roll it up and stick it underneath your right knee. So you're in this configuration. Now, if you go, oh, that's all easy peasy, you're going to go to the more advanced one. You grab your ankle, you lean over to the right side, and you put your foot to the side. Now, if you're somewhere in between, you go, I don't want to do the modified one, but this is still too hard. Easy stuff. Fold up your blanket. Once you do that, you stick it all the way under your tush so that you're square. Now it feels more comfortable. So maybe you would like to try it with a big pillow underneath you. Make sure, yes, it stretches your foot, stretches your knee. So either like this, or you're seated like this. Doesn't matter. You can have your right leg straight or bent. We are not using our arms pulling ourselves into it. We're giving ourselves that long back, and we're going to bow over our right leg, and you're going to breathe there. Everybody's going to feel differently. Again, some people need to have something under their tush. If you are loose in this and relaxed, remember your belly and thighs are always staying together. If your tummy and thighs come apart, you need to bend that right knee so that they are in solid contact with each other. Breathe into the back of your right leg. You're going to feel that in your hip. You may feel that in the groin as well. Breathe there. Allow those hamstrings to stretch. Allow the hips to open even more. They should be really loose and easy to sink into. So I wanted to do this pose at the end because we took the tightness of your hips out of this. It's a one-legged forward fold. When you do 2 legs at the same time, they don't stretch quite so well. One leg always stretches easier than the other does. So if you spend the same amount of time with each leg, they're going to be more cooperative than trying to stretch them at once. You are almost complete with this pose. You're going to allow yourself to melt a little more. And remember, shoulders and neck should be happy. So for goodness sakes, if you need to get some props, go right ahead, get some props. Get some pillows underneath you. Remember, it's not forever, it's just for a little bit. A lot of times when you're in these long holds, you go, oh my gosh, I'm here forever, I can't stay here. But tell yourself it's just for a small amount of time. You're almost complete with the pose. I get people tell me all the time, you say only 1 more, 2 more breaths, but it's a lot longer. Because your mind can handle 1 or 2 more breaths. If I tell you we're doing 150 more breaths, you're going to just go, oh no. Keep shoulders and neck relaxed, please. That's the big caution, shoulders and neck. If you do have your feet, you would cross your wrists, grab your feet, and just pull your chest gently towards your foot and bow into it even deeper. Don't let me scare some of you because it only took me 40 years to do that. It's really cool when you have something that you're doing that you get younger the more you do it. Come all the way back up. Take your left hand underneath that knee, slide that leg out. Oh, move those ankles around in circles. Go one way, go the other way. Let's get the other leg. So remember, you're either sitting on a blanket, bent left knee, right foot goes to the inner left thigh, maybe another pillow or blanket under that knee. That may be how you're in this pose. Some of you, if you want to go a little deeper, you would grab your ankle and pull it to the outside. So make sure you're adjusted well. Each side is different. You're going to put your hands on each side of that left leg. The knee can be bent or straight, and you're going to bow over that left leg, and you're going to breathe there. Breathe into it. Allow that leg to open. Feel that stretch in your hip. Let those hamstrings stretch. Let your shoulders release. It feels different to each side. Please be mindful about it. Allow your body to settle into it. No neck and shoulders. You let the shoulders go. If you're way up high, maybe you grab some pillows and you stack them and you allow your body to melt over it. If there's pain in your back, you need to give it up. Please do not force this pose. If you have pain in the back, that knee needs to be bent and you need to be more in this configuration. Please make sure you're comfortable enough in this pose. It is going to be incredibly stretchy, but I don't want you to feel pain. I don't want you to feel any burning or numbness in your back. Please let your shoulders go. Breathe deep and observe the differences from this side to the other side. Absolutely no judgments, just observe it. You're halfway complete with the pose. Just a couple more breaths, kids. You're almost there. You're almost finished. Let the shoulders relax. For my friends who have their feet, they would cross the wrist, pull the chest towards the feet, and bow over it and breathe. You could even take your hands at the bottom of your foot and grab your wrist if you wanted to. There's all kinds of different techniques. If you're new to yin, believe me, if you practice it for decades, you too will have to have leg extenders. Your hands going past your feet. It will happen. I've seen it. It takes patience with the process. The hardest part for all of us, patience for ourselves. Please be patient. Relax, release, let go. Let it go. Please be very slow and very mindful about lifting all the way back up. Once you do come up, slide that leg out. And I neglected to tell you, if your foot is back, you always lean over, grab your ankle, and slide it out. Rock your ankles around. So tonight, like always, I'd like us to end in one of two poses. We're going to end in saddle pose or in the modified bridge pose. So in saddle pose, if you're new, like I said, I've got a couple of new friends tonight. In saddle pose, what you do is you come up onto the knees, and it's very similar to the last one where the feet go back behind you. Now, if this is not comfortable, putting your hips between your feet, maybe a bit pillow or a yoga block under your hips, and you go, wow, that's okay. Maybe this is as far as you're going to go. And this is a wonderful stretch. Knees, quadriceps. This takes a long time for you to be able to handle being on your feet. It's a weird thing, but it can be done. Now, some of you want to just maybe set up high on a pillow or a bolster like you're in the saddle. That's good too. But others of us, whether you have a pillow underneath your hips, might want to go back further by letting their bodies rest out like so. This could be your pose. Or it could be lower where you're with a smaller pillow and flatter down. If that's not appropriate for you, this is the pose that you should do. Bridge pose, it's modified. So what you're gonna do is have your knees bent, feet on the floor. You would put a nice, heavy, sturdy pillow or a yoga block underneath your hips. So not a real cushy one. Maybe it's 2 or 3 cushy ones under your hips, okay? Something to give height. Maybe some kind of book. If you've got a thick book, get it underneath your hips if you don't have a block. And then you only stretch one leg out at a time. Once you play with that, notice the stretch in the front of your leg and into your hip, making sure your back is safe. If you're having crunching in your back, then you need to push whatever you have lower underneath you, not higher. Then you'd explore the other side. You'd stretch the other leg out and make sure that was safe. Again, you do not want crunching in the back. If you have a yoga block under your hips, make sure that it feels good. Sometimes they're very hard underneath your hips, so make sure it's safe. Once you've tried out both legs and it feels safe one at a time, try them both at the same time. We're stretching in the front of the legs, the quadriceps, but what I love most about this is it stretches the back of your neck. No pillows behind you. Your head is going to be flat on the floor, shoulders, and it puts your ears in alignment to the shoulders. You could stretch your arms out anywhere. This should be releasing. This should be relaxing. No matter if you're in saddle pose or this modified bridge pose, you're going to go. Make sure that's comfy under your hips. Make sure it's something you can tolerate. Saddle pose or bridge. If both legs out hurt, have one knee bent. Keep one leg stretched out a minute or more to each side. I had to do this for years where it was just one leg at a time. Because of my occupation, my daytime job, boy, it totally messed my hips up. I had a lot of serious hip issues. So please, if I can go through that and rework my hips, you can too. Just be patient with it. It takes a long time. Allow the hips to melt. Let them release and open. Now you're going to stay in the pose. I'm going to move so I can get ready to help show you how to come out of the poses. Stay with your breath. Stay in the pose if you can, or come out of it if you need. Deep stretch in the front body. If you're in saddle pose, let the shoulders go as well. This pose really takes the fight out of everybody. If you're in saddle pose, make sure there's no crunching in your lower back. The tailbone needs to be tucked underneath you. Gives you more intensity in the hips too. For my friends in saddle pose, it's time to start to come out of it. And you slowly work your elbows underneath you. Slowly get the hands back underneath you. Start to get rid of any pillows you can, and you lift yourself back up very slow. Once you do come up onto the knees, you slide your knees inward and you move your hips around in circles. For my friends who are on their back and they are in modified bridge pose, you would bend one knee, put the foot on the floor, then the other knee. You would hold on to the block under your hips and take the feet off the floor and just move your hips, your knees around in circles. Go one way, go the other way. If you have a yoga block, the hardness of that yoga block at the sacrum and at your hips should feel good. If it doesn't, please stop it. Then you'll put your feet down on the floor, get rid of your block or the prop under your hips, and please hug knees to chest, nose to bed, knees. For my friends on your knees, come all the way. Everybody's going to meet on your backs with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor, arms out, comfortable, palms up. Please move your right foot to the middle of your yoga mat. Your knees are bent. Left leg crosses tightly over your right knee. If you need a prop to your right side so your knees don't go to the floor, get it there. If not, point the top of your left foot towards your yoga mat and come into shoelace twist. You're going to look straight up to the ceiling or look over your left shoulder. Just a few deep breaths. Letting the shoulders relax. Twisting the spine can be the cure, can also be the cause. So remember, if this is not a good pose for you, you have props underneath you to prevent you from going too far. Before we leave this pose, please everybody take a huge breath in and let it go. Let yourself melt. Let's get the other side. Lift the knees back up. Uncross your legs. Lift your hips up and go wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Settle your hips to the floor. Put your left foot to the inside of to the middle of your mat. Take your right leg, cross it over your left leg. Point the top of your right foot towards the mat and bring yourself into shoelace twist. If you need to modify it, take the pillow underneath your left thigh to prevent you from twisting too deeply. Look over your right shoulder if it feels comfortable to you. Look straight up to the ceiling if it's better to you. Breathe into that hip. Breathe into your organs. This cleanses your organs. We have different organs on each side, so it's always important to get a twist to each side, bringing those organs out and cleansing the toxins out. Before we leave the pose, let's all take a deep breath in, let it out with a big sigh. Lift both knees back up, uncross your legs, lift your hips up, wiggle, 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 settle your hips down, knees touch, walk your feet out wide apart, let your arms rest out. We're in relaxation pose, not Shavasana, that's different. Let your hips open, let your hips melt on the floor. Knees touch, feet are wide apart. Take a deep breath in. Let it out with a big sigh. Try it again. Take another breath in. Try the movement. Point the knee towards the ceiling and press the opposite knee down, just like we did earlier setting up. Press one knee down, one knee points up, and gently go from side to side. Slow, extra slow. Just a couple of times. Bring both knees back up. Walk the feet and knees in together. Please hug both knees behind your knees into your chest, nose to hip knees. And then take your head down to the floor and move your knees around. Going one way around in circles. Go the other way around. Now separate the knees and get the circles in your hips, going one way around several times before you change the direction and go the other way around several times. Now reach your hands between your legs, grab your feet, rock yourself from side to side. Happy baby. And then if you want to be a dead bug, knees to the outside of your body, grab the outsides of your feet, point the heels of your feet towards the ceiling and spread your toes. Pull your shoulders down, push your hip bones down, pull your tummy in. Head stays on the floor, tuck your chin. Take a breath and just go. When you're ready, go ahead and stretch your legs out over a pillow, over a bolster. If you need to set up, you can. If you want, just let your arms rest out, palms up. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let it out with a big sigh. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath for a moment. Sip a little more breath in. Now blow it out hard. Let it go. Take a deep breath in and let it out with Let's do a delicious sound. Take a breath in. One more time. Take a breath in. One more delicious sound. Notice that vibration lingering on your lips. Let that vibration reverberate through the entire body. Imagine every cell in your body coming alive, savoring that delicious sensation. Find the sound of your own breath. Your breath is right there at the back of your throat. Hear that breath deepen. Notice that the breath can flow from head to toe, fingertip to fingertip, skin to bone. Let each breath soothe your body. More important, allow each breath to relax. Feel each breath release the whole mind. Bring your awareness to that back of the throat. Notice the breath is there. You can hear it between the ears. Deepen your breath. Hear that sound growing louder like a wave. Let that wave soothe your mind. Let that wave relax and release your whole body. Find that spot between your eyes. and allow that area to soften and open. Notice the tiny spot between your eyes become spacious, allowing the forehead and the scalp to simply melt away. Allowing those waves of relaxation to flow deep into the face. The eyes soften, cheeks relax, your jaws unhinge. Let the chin hang heavy. As every fiber in the neck softens and releases, notice even the ears are melting further down. As you breathe deeply into the fronts of your shoulders, notice even the backs of your shoulders are melting away. Allowing those deep waves of relaxation to flow into the arms, soothing your hands. Let it flow out to the fingers. As each breath expands your ribs just a bit more. Observe that flow, the wave across your spine. Let it release each vertebra gently into the mat. As you breathe deeply into the fronts of your hips, noticing the backs of your hips are melting away. Allowing deep waves of relaxation to cascade into your thighs, soothing your knees. As it flows deep into your calves and down to each one of your feet. Follow that flow from head to toe, fingertip to fingertip, skin to bone. Let each breath soothe your body. More important to let each breath to relax. Let it release the whole mind. Start to bring your awareness to those subtle sounds in your room. Can you hear sounds in your home? Can you identify the sounds from outside? Bring your awareness back to my voice as you start to wiggle the toes. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your ankles and wiggle your wrists. Take a nice deep breath in with any extra stretch you'd like. Bring yourself back to the body a little more fully, more completely. Take your time. Draw the knees up. Give yourself a little hug and squeeze around the knees before you roll to the right side if it's good. Roll to the left side if it feels better. Stay on your side for just a moment. Let yourself come back a bit more fully. When you're ready, come all the way up to any old seated position you would like. Take your time. Some of you are already up. Some of you are just making your way up. When you're ready, come all the way up and roll your shoulders a couple of times. We're going to let our hands rest on our legs. We're going to do a breath work. We're going to do what's called B breath. We're going to put our tongue on that ridge behind our teeth, and we're going to make the sound of N. We're going to go, mm. Now everybody has different dental work. Some people want to clench their teeth together. Some people want space. Some people want to change the sound, higher or lower. But what we're trying to do is create a vibration in your sinus cavity. This rattles out congestion. It's a really nice thing to do, especially in the springtime. I know we're coming up to summer, but there's still some spring in the air. So we're going to put our tongue on that ridge behind our teeth. We're going to close our eyes, and we're going to start to go. Wonder if it made your animals nuts too. We're going to end with an Om. Please put your hands together. I'm going to Om to you too, Ruby. Put your hands together, thumbs at your heart. We're going to pronounce Om, A-U-M, Om. Close your eyes. Invite a deep breath in. Om. Namaste.